Lou was experimented on by his parents as a kid and became the future of humanity. However, his family betrayed him several times until they managed to sentence him to afterlife prison. Robert he finds he has some hidden powers and starts his path to get revenge in this world. Part of the human population has been turned into Blood of War's bloodthirsty vampire-like creatures with special powers. The affliction originated as a side effect of the cure for a massive insomnia pandemic. As a result, the Department BST in charge of keeping humans safe from the new species created special necklaces called DGPS to track the bloodthirst and location of each Blood of War. Even the slightest change in emotion can decide whether they live or die. Mila was introduced to the media at 5 years old as the proclaimed child of peace and hope for humanity, born to a human mother, Gachin Shimon. And Blood of War father Mei Tenju. His existence is intended to connect the two species, while his mother is a scientist. Lou's father is the head of BST and is in charge of neutral. Realizing Blood of War threats, Lou's parents had performed several experiments on him in order to suppress his bloodthirst, but he does not actually need to drink blood since he is a half-breed. This brought Lou so much attention from the media that one day a Blood of War invaded his school searching for him. Though the students and staff were told to evacuate for some reason, Lou's teacher told him to stay behind. He gets taken hostage and the Blood of War then demands to talk with Mei Tenju, but Lou's father refuses to negotiate. The Blood of War tells Lou that no one cares about him, revealing that his teacher and friends had left him behind. Giving up his location as bait to escape his father was just as bad, refusing negotiations to protect his son's life and not even showing up to save him. As a result, the Blood of War had no leverage and chose instead to throw Lee off of the building. Years have passed since the incident and Lou is now 16 years old. He spent the past 11 years in an orphanage as his mother mysteriously disappeared, and he couldn't stand living with his father. Lou approaches everything timidly and has a good relationship with his friends, which is largely due to his natural charisma and leadership skills. But now he and his friends were falsely accused of murder by his father and were sentenced to death while waiting in a cell. He is visited by his father. Lou looks at him with disdain, asking if he's here to save the day, but when his father brings up his mother, Lou snaps and they get into a physical confrontation. Tenju injures his arm, burning it and leaving a scar, then leaves him to be taken away while telling his son he won't be able to escape. Lou and his friends Anji Wen Ko and Chen Fan are transported to the prison, but their van gets blocked off and shot multiple times. After waking up, Lou can't figure out his surroundings and has no clue how he arrived from the supposed execution. Looking around, he seems to have been put in a type of enclosed cell. Lou then sees a couple of unknown people nearby, a man and woman beside him wake up, so they introduce themselves as Li Shin and Shoafan. The doors to their cell open and they soon realize that many other Blood of War death row prisoners are present. Angie enters the room, however, just as Li was about to call out to her, the real Angie appears behind him. The mysterious woman explains that they were in Aori, a place where the death row prisoners will participate in a survival game. This angers a few people and a man steps up to attack the woman. Shin steps up to protect her because he wants to score points with Angie and tells the other prisoners to back off. This leads to a fight between him and the other inmate in which Chen gets beaten up badly. Mission failed. Just as the man is about to hit Chen with a fatal blow, his head goes boom. The prisoners scream in shock, but the woman then explains that their DGPS now contains bombs programmed to explode when they attack other inmates or when their necklace reaches zero. A monster suddenly appears and slices the woman in half, revealing she is a robot. The monster begins attacking the prisoners, so Lou and Angie begin to flee, but even more creatures appear throughout the room. As they run away, iPhone begs for help and they stop to do. However, a monster appears in front of them face to face with Lou, who activates his special power of humancy. The monster lunges forward, but in using his ability, Lou flies and takes recoil damage. The monster is quick to follow and attempts to attack Angie, but she's saved by Lee. This gives Lou, Angie, and iPhone the perfect opportunity to escape. They escape through the ventilation system and end up in an old office room. After checking out the room in detail, Lou realizes that the building isn't supposed to be completed until 2 years later. Yet it looks like it has been in use for ages. It is then that he starts to remember that he has been in that building when he was still a kid. Lou and the two girls continue researching the rooms, and he says that this place is connected to the experiments his parents did on him when suddenly a monster shows up and attacks them. Blue grabs a metal bar to fight the monster, and though he struggles, it gives Angie and Ivan a chance to escape. While running away, the girls get cut off by another creature. Angie tries to hold it back, while Ivan finds a different way to go. iPhone finds an open door and pushes Angie forward, closing the door, trapping Angie outside where the monster can finally eat her. Lu catches up and grabs Angie, moving her out of the way to save her from the creatures before turning the corner. After escaping for a time, he checks on Angie and sees her deep wound. This leaves him overwhelmed, but the monsters are closing in, so he picks her up and tries to run away with everything he has. He checks up on Angie again. He sees that she is in very critical condition. Lu stabs through the creature with a metal bar, and though it tries to continue attacking, it soon disappears into blue specks. Lu frustratedly tries to open a hole in the blockage that is stopping them from going further, all the while reminiscing about how much he values her. He breaks into tears, feeling utterly helpless while watching the person he cares for most suffer. At that moment, a blue glow appears from the scar on his arm. Lu quickly deduces that this might be the work of his father, as he also saw it when his father got emotional during their altercation. He taps on the glowing shot and a supercomputer named Sapphire appears. The Sapphire is something related to Lu's mysterious mother. High Father transferred it to him because it will force her to look for him. Lu experiments with it to gather knowledge about the origins of Blood of War in Aori. He learns that Aori is the place where the cure that created Blood of Wars was made, and that it was later used to make experiments on him and other bloodivores. Most importantly, he uses Sapphire to figure out a way to save Angie with a blood transfusion, cutting himself and making Angie drink his blood. This activates her DGPS and she snaps, awakening the dormant bloodivore inside of her, invites his neck to suck even more blood from him, causing them both to soon collapse. And a mysterious figure approaches him. Blue wakes up after having a dream about his mother touching him, just like the mysterious figure did in that dream. His mother tells him she will protect him until he gets strong enough. He then notices the wall behind them has been destroyed. The outside light is visible and Angie is lying down nearby, so he picks her up and begins moving toward the infirmary. Angie asks why Lu always saves her, and he recalls their first meeting. The moment he saw her, he was reminded of his mother and began sobbing internally, vowing to protect her forever. A dragon-like creature flies by as Angie tells him to let her down. She says that there must be other things that matter more to Lu than her, as he always created a barrier that kept him isolated from others. She tells Lu to leave her behind and chase what he wants. Blue refuses, picking her back up and walking towards the infirmary while slowly opening up about himself. He was extremely bothered by his mother's sudden disappearance and how his father didn't even care. This emotionally ruined him and made him want to look for his mother, but he found Angie in the orphanage instead. But Angie keeps getting weaker and the path to the infirmary seems even more unreachable. Trying to quickly reach the infirmary, Lu climbs down a dangerous path and Angie falls off his back. He looks at her desperately, the thought that it was his idea that got them into this mess eating him, and his inner voices start tearing him down. A monster appears and tries to attack Angie, but Lu is caught up and can get to her in time. At that moment he blacks out. He wakes up with a strange little blonde girl on top of him, and he sees Chen and Li Shan in the room. Chen punches Lu, repeatedly crying and asking why he couldn't protect Angie. They punch each other back and forth, all while letting out their tears and anger. Soon they stop and just sit there crying together. Lu hears the door rattling in the wind and looks outside to find Angie standing there. They reunite. Chen and Lu, full of emotion, they say that she wasn't breathing when they found her, but Angie says that she doesn't remember much after she and Lu were attacked by the monster. She also tells them that she met a blonde-hair girl who may have potentially saved her. Li Shan and Chen recognize the girl as Ya, explaining how they found her when searching for Lu in a room with a strange melting phenomenon. Lu suspects that Ya and the room might be the root of the mystery, so he and Chen go out to search for the room. However, they see prisoners with gathered weapons patrolling the area. Andrew uses is a communication device to speak with Lu to say that they need help because yes, the GPS count has gone down to 5. Having heard a noise, the prisoners shoot Lu's communication device down and point their guns at them. Lu and Chen tell them that they just want their help and ask to speak to their leader, but use the excuse to run away. While running away, Lu tells Chen that they should capture a monster alive to save Ya. Though the plan sounds ridiculous and impossible, they soon intrude upon Winkale and a group of prisoners fighting with a monster, but they tell him not to kill it. Lu ties the monster down and it reverts to being a bloodivore boy. Lu talks with the people and they say that the kid had touched a redstone-like object that seems to have given him strange abilities. Lu deduces that touching the red stone activates one's hemomancy abilities and that it probably makes them go berserk at first. Further on, Lu asks for the help of Lu Yao, one of the most powerful blood of wars to help save Yes, since killing monsters helps to keep the DGPS caught up. Yao accepts the offer and decides to tell Lu a secret, leading Lu to the yard behind his room. Yao reveals an array of the same black hole barriers that Lu had seen around before. He tells them that these are there to make sure that the prisoners don't try to escape. Yao also tells Lu to join his team so that they can aim for bigger things, but is refused. Yao shakes his head, saying that a powerful blood of war who isn't his ally is his enemy and tries to throw Lu into the black hole. Lu uses high power to fly back, but Yao attacks him. Yao tries again to throw him into the barriers, but Lu uses his speed and human's ability to outspeed him and reverse the momentum. Leave throws a smoke bomb and it explodes, and he takes the opportunity to grab Chan and run. They must hurry so that they can save Yap and stop Li Shen, who had previously absorbed a red crystal and would soon go berserk on the way back. Lu keeps thinking about the moment that Yao mentioned his father and wonders just what connection the two might have. Lu and Chen arrive just as Shen has started to attack Angie. Chen is too powerful for Lu, so he decides to run and bait him toward monster that they had encountered earlier. Shen, however, has the ability to generate swords, allowing him to fight with various dangerous weapons and attacking with such great speed and intense strength. Shen makes it hard for Lu to dodge his attacks. Instead, Lu tells Chen to bring Angie and here to the abandoned building where the monster resides. This gives you a better shot at killing the creature since it cannot leave the building. Shen, however, is too strong and his power keeps increasing, enabling him to easily fight off the monster. Just as Shen is about to kill the creature, Lu decides to intercept the attack and take it himself. If the monster had died by Shen's hand, it wouldn't be able to kill it. To gain the DGPS points, he uses his hemomancy to bring Shen to the sky and fight there. Their battle is fast-paced and Lu struggles. Shen has the advantage since he has inhumane reflexes and the ability to generate weapons. Blue's skill helps keep the fight in the air, giving Angie and Chen a chance to escape, but they decide to stay and try to help since Lu is risking his life to save them. As Lu dodges, he notices Angie preparing to throw a grenade, then accordingly baits Shen into taking the blow, which leaves him unconscious. Lu then tells everyone that to save you they need to set up bombs everywhere in the building. He decides to set up the bombs himself and wants them to press the detonation button at 12 o'clock. Regardless of the situation in hand, Blue goes off to set up the bombs on his own and efficiently sets up the bombs one by one in each room. In one such room, however, he finds a disturbing body and wonders just what could have happened to it. He questions whether it used to live here and if it was attacked by a monster, but it doesn't have a blood of war necklace. It is then that Lu discovers a piece of jewelry from his past on the table. Remembering Zoe, his mother's assistant, who gave it to him, he confirms it by opening the lid of the locket, which is Zoe's picture on. Lu continues to search the room and finds a journal that recorded the scientific research going on. Apparently, the research wasn't making much progress and it was getting consistently worse as time passed, so they chose to move on. Plan B. Lu uses Sapphire to search for Plan B and he discovers that Angie was one of the people listed as a subject for their research. He searches up the people behind this research and finds out that BST and his parents were a major part of it. Before he can investigate further, a monster attacks him, but he is able to outwit it into falling down a floor. This gives him a bit of time to set up the remaining explosives, but the monsters come back and begin to attack him. Blue desperately tries to fight when Angie, who is now able to activate her humanity, comes in to save him. She buys him some time by trapping the monsters with shadows, but Lu grabs her and escapes since it is too dangerous to stay there. After escaping the building, S sets off the bomb, successfully gaining the DGPS points that she needed. This destroys the building and leaves Lu unconscious, but while the others fight the monsters that Aperia touches and somehow heals Lu. When he opens his eyes, he sees Zue emerging from the corpse of the dragon. Watch this next video. See you on the next one.